technically was a drift, yeah. We're out here with the 2022 Volkswagen Golf R to answer one question. Is the most sophisticated, advanced hot hatch on the market also the best?
All right, Mac, we're in the Golf R. Tell me a little bit about this thing.
Right, so way back in the day, Volkswagen basically popularizes the hot hatch with the GTI. And round about the turn of the millennium, start realizing that there's such a market for these things that we can make a faster, better one, right? So
yeah.
the R32 comes out and it's more sophisticated and advanced, and this is continuing that lineage. So
yeah.
you take the GTI, you crank it up. So 315 horsepower, 310 foot-pounds of torque, and all-wheel drive. For this generation, we also get torque vectoring all-wheel drive, so while only half the power can get to the rear axle,
okay,
all of that can go to either wheel.
Oh,
so,
okay, got it.
You know, as we've gone on, the car has gotten more and more advanced to the point where this is the most sophisticated hot hatch ever built.
Yeah.
Talk about the elephant in the center cluster here.
I think we should. We're sort of ignoring the gorilla in the room, which is our beautiful infotainment system.
Oh yeah, and that's certainly charitable word choice. It's weird to talk about infotainment at all when you're going around a racetrack in a car that goes 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds, but everything you have to do in this car lives in that system.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, it's not that it's not good, it's that it's like hostile, we were trying to turn off the stability control and you got to dive through like 3 menus and go to this picture of the car and hit the brakes, and then, that's where you also have to turn off the eco tips and all of that.
And it's worth noting, we were in like the Nürburgring spec mode,
yes,
and it was still throwing eco tips about gear selection and declutching and all of these things, and it's kind of like, okay, like this would be the time to be giving me some driving feedback, if
right.
anything.
Yeah.
Like that would be interesting to have as a little pop-up on the screen.
Yep.
Maybe for the sake of it, we can just run through some of the features that make this car unique as this Golf R.
Right, so part of the reason I call it the most advanced, right, is like, it's not just that it has adaptive suspension, it's that the dampers have 15 settings and they can be decoupled from the braking response and the engine response. And yet, despite all of that complication, praise be, they still offer a 6-speed manual transmission.
Yes.
You can get the dual clutch, the DSG, for 800 extra bucks, but in my opinion, it's a hot hatch. Like,
yeah,
this is what you're supposed to do. All right, JR, so now we're out here on the track with this car, and now someone who knows what they're doing is driving. So why don't you tell me a little bit about how you feel about driving this car?
It's funny because one of the things that I actually really do sort of appreciate about cars like this, but this car in particular it's very approachable on the track. We've just put it sort of straight into race mode. ESC is off. It's got plenty of power. Like it's got gusto. Like it's not like it can't, if it didn't want to, sort of get out of control or be sort of haywire.
Yep.
And here we are, just straight at it. Like you can brake super late, let the car rotate down into the corner, it puts the power on nice and easy. You can use all the roads. So there's something about that to appreciate. Just as much as maybe it's not ultra fun, like it's hard to be a hooligan in this thing.
Yes.
It is very fast. All right, let's try drift mode out.
All right.
Just for fun. All right, well, we got a little movement there.
That technically was a drift, yeah. wasn't the Cadillac. The drift.
It was not a 600 and whatever horsepower rear-wheel drive drift. That's definitely true.
This is a hot hatchback drift.
I do have to say, this is like a curb monster.
Oh yeah.
It just eats those things up.
Well, it's helpful we put it in the special mode. So in race mode, there's race mode, drift mode, and then the special mode, which is the green mode designed specifically for the Nürburgring, which everything is in maximum attack mode except suspension, which is dialed back just a little bit to give you that compliance over the curves.
It's got a little bit of that front wheel drive forward steering feel and all the rest of it, but it allows you to manipulate just enough through the center of the corner that it gets that rotation, it cleans it up a little bit even on your behalf.
Right.
And then lets you go ahead and get out.
It's not a car that teaches you a lot because it's correcting so much, and because it's doing so much behind the scenes, and because there's not that much steering feel, not much brake feel. You can get a corner wrong and not be punished for it, and you can get it right and not feel that like electrifying, oh man, I got it, you know?
The gratification factor for getting it right is not quite as high with this as some other cars, and I think even some of its competitors.
So, what do you think of the Golf R?
You know, it's like there's a lot to like about it once you get it out on track. Like I actually really did enjoy how quickly you could get in. You could be really punchy and aggressive with the car. It sort of handled all of that. Yep. It's got a lot of interesting features, but at the same time, I guess I just never really felt super excited by what it was giving me at the same time.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think if you want that easy speed of almost like a sports sedan, there's a lot to like here, although at close to 45 grand to start, even that can be tough. But if you're looking for maximum driver engagement, I think you're better off serving in a lot of hot hatches, including the other one Volkswagen makes, which is of course the GTI.
Yeah, it's a great call.